Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. This is going to be part 2 of our Tutti Frutti watches, and I am starting out here by stamping all of our little clocks onto the faces of our watches. I am, of course, working with the Stamp Market Watch Bands die set, as well as the matching sentiment stamps called Time to Say. I'm also using some of their cardstock in the colors Craft, Soft Berry, Wild Berry, Tea Berry, Golden, Coral, and Salmon. So I have used the larger and smaller clock face. I'm also going to use the one that reads Celebrate Today, and I'm stamping those out with my Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And now we're going to go ahead here and start getting everything put together. So I've got this border that's going to go around our square watch face, adding a little bit of art glitter glue, and we'll pop that into place. Using my stamp block there to make sure that's down nice and tight. We'll add a little dot of glue in the center so that we can get our hands placed down. And now we're going to work on our watch band. So I wanted to do some polka dots. I'm going to add just some dots of art glitter glue all over the band here. And then I have trimmed out a bunch of different colors from our cardstock. And I created these dots actually using the same die that was used to create this watch band. So these are all of the 3 little holes there at the bottom. This is that portion of that die. Just ran it through a bunch of times on all the different colored cardstock to get all my polka dots ready. Trying to keep these random, but also get lots of them on there to get the idea of the polka dots. So I don't really have a rhyme or reason. I just place those glue dots down in a pattern that looks right to me, and then add on all my little dots. Now we'll go ahead and place everything together. Just a little line of art glitter glue on the edge here. I'm going to use the mat and those lines on my mat to make sure I've got this nice and straight. And then we'll do the exact same thing with the other side. Next, we're going to work on a striped watch. So I'm going to pull out all my colors here. I have cut out 2 of each. We're going to have 5 different color stripes on each side of the band here. So I just want to get those together and in the order that I want them. Make it nice and easy for myself. We're going to add a little art glitter glue behind here. And I found the easiest way to do this was just to kind of hold it in the middle and then place glue on either end. That way it was stuck down nice and tight. I'm going to start out by adding this color to the left-hand side, and then I'll immediately go to the right-hand side. And this is going to help me just keep everything nice and centered so things are even. Next, we'll add our center color, which is going to be this yellow. And once I've got those 3 down, it makes it super easy to place the final 2. And we'll do the exact same thing for the other watch band. We're going to grab the little bars for our bands to sit on or wrap around, add a little line of art glitter glue, and just center that. Making sure those edges are nice and even. And then, of course, we've got to make our watch face. So we'll add our glitter border. This is diamond glitter paper, also from Stamp Market. Add a couple little dots of glue and get our hands placed down. A little dot of glue on our side piece here. We're going to place this under the watch band. Again, using my mat in the background there to make sure everything is nice and straight. And we'll add the other side the exact same way. All right, now on to our third and final watch for this card today. We're going to add a stripe right down the center of this watch band. And again, we'll get our face put together. add on our little watch hands. I'm going to trim off this excess from each of our little straps. I'm going to pull in some light purple bars. I'm going to glue those underneath the strap this time. Just a little line of glue there, and then I will center that. And then we'll get our face attached to our watch bands. So now we're going to work on the front of our card base. So I wanted to do these diagonal, and this is a little bit tricky because of the size of the bands and the fact that for most of these, we really only have one end of the watch to work with because we don't have the piece that actually has the little loop and the prong that would fit into those holes on the watch band. So I want to make sure that I'm only showing one end of that watch as I place these down. We want it to look realistic, or as realistic as possible. I am, of course, popping these up with some foam dots. I love to have that little bit of dimension. And I'm going to place these on a diagonal. I'm going to be using the sentiment, "It's your day." And because of the way that this is set, it's going to be easier to use a stamp block rather than taking this to my MISTI, because I'm going to place it on an angle and I need to get these watches lined up at the same angle. So I'm going to grab this stamp here, and I'm eyeballing this for the most part, just making sure they're sort of on the same angle, that it's going to read properly. So I'm going to take my stamp block, I'm going to use my square one, and I'm going to line up that second line there on the corner of the card, on the side and the bottom. So that way I can make sure I'm keeping my angle. Of course, I'll do a sample stamp of this just to make sure I've got the right pressure. And then there you'll see I'm lining up those lines again on the side and the bottom. And I'm going to press that into place. I'm just going to hold it. I don't want to do a double stamp of this. It's much, much too hard to line up when you're using a block like this. So you don't need to put too much pressure either. Just steady pressure, holding that into place, allow that ink to soak in. So now to help me keep this in place, I am just going to use a little bit of my mint tape. That would have made it a little easier to stamp it as well, but I didn't think of it until now. So we're going to go ahead, line everything up. I do want to have these watch bands offset, or the faces of them offset. So I'm trying to place these in a way that I can do that. But as I mentioned earlier, also making sure that I'm not cutting off any of the bands or showing too much of one side or the other. So I'll go ahead, peel away the backing here. And we'll get this bottom one pressed into place. And we'll just work our way up, doing my best to keep that angle the same. Now, because I wasn't exactly sure of the placement of these when I added my foam dots, I am going to go add a few additional to make sure that this is down nice and tight and even on our card base. I'm going to place, use my pokey tool here to place either a half of a foam dot or a full foam dot just to make sure that we've got really nice coverage there. We'll peel away the backing and press those all into place. And then, of course, trim off our excess. We'll add some art glitter glue to the back of our panel. And place that on the top of our card base. I'm just using my pokey tool there to make sure that everything's even with my foam dot. Sometimes when you trim it, a little bit of that foam dot can still be peeking out, so I just kind of press it in there. I'm going to go ahead and stamp out the inside sentiment, which is yay. This is again included in the time to say stamp sets, and I am of course using my intense black ink. We'll add some ATG to the back of that inside panel and place that in our card base. And that will complete our card for today. Here are a few close-ups of the finished card. In the description box below, you'll find my blog post, which has additional photos and links to the supplies I've used. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.